Right here is always a shit show. People don't know whether to stay in the left or the right lanes. People just don't know how to drive, but it's to be expected, right guys? To be expected. Get a little bit of action, guys. Come on now. Oh. Oh my God. How you drive through Atlanta, guys. No fucks given. What's good, fam? Welcome back to Unlockable Character. Today is Fun and Fitness Fridays. I'm gonna shout out the merch one more time, guys. Got the him merch. Hats, shirts, hoodies are available on my Shopify. I'm also selling the CSL carbon fiber front splitter and a carbon fiber swan neck wing, so definitely check that out. My splitter and wing will go on tomorrow morning. Today I'm going to do a full review of the car, and we're going to start with kind of just an ASMR in the car wash as we drive to the gym. What I want you guys to know about the 2025 BMW M4 competition is there are tons of changes on the inside and outside, and some of the changes I don't think BMW is publicizing. The ones that they have talked about are the vents. So the vents are actually different now. They have a toggle, or I should say a little nub that you can direct the vent flow to. Previously it was actually in the middle of the vents. This whole center structure has been reworked. So this outline, this design in the middle, that is completely new. The vent design itself is also completely new. And there's much less silver going on where you see in other parts of the car. Of course, the flat bottom steering wheel is new. I love the flat bottom steering wheel. This should have been there day one, even on the pre-LCI. And when you get the carbon fiber interior trim, you get the carbon fiber on the steering wheel as well as carbon fiber paddle shifters. So if you guys are speccing your G80 or G82, I highly recommend getting the carbon fiber paddle shifters by getting the carbon fiber interior trim. That gets you carbon fiber across the dash. And I would also really recommend getting full leather. Full leather means you get leather on the upper parts of the doors. You get leather up here. It'll match the color of the leather color that you pick. So in this case, Fiona Red, I get Fiona Red on the upper part of the dash and the doors. Fiona Red specifically gets red stitching, which is a super nice touch. A really, really nice touch because it matches the 12 o'clock marker on the steering wheel. The 12 o'clock marker on the steering wheel is always going to be red no matter what color you pick for your leather, which is an interesting thing by BMW. For Fiona Red on full leather, you also get the red stitching all the way across the top of the dash. So guys, I think, you know, if you want that premium feel, you're paying 6 figures for a car, get the full leather. And if you're not going to park the car outside, because if you expose leather dashes to the sun, you know, there is a chance that it shrinks. If you're able to put the car in the garage at night and during the day, I think full leather is a no-brainer. It just elevates the whole car. New for the LCI is what is called galvanic controls. So instead of black switches, you have metallic switches. I think it's an only $100 option, but it's another thing that elevates the car and sets it apart. So I think it looks amazing. You do get that orange or red lighting behind it, and at night it looks cool, and during the day it looks premium. So galvanic controls, carbon fiber interior trim, and the full leather is definitely options that I would go for. Now, a lot of people have been asking about the carbon fiber bucket seats, right? Well, I'll tell you what, I am 170 pounds and I'm 5'8", and they fit me perfectly. My waist size is about a 32, it's American waist size. If you're pushing 40 in terms of American waist size and you're a little bit more obese, you know, a little chunky around the edges, you know, your midsection, I don't think you should go for the carbon fiber bucket seats. I love them. I can take very long road trips. We're talking about 6 hours of driving with no problems. They fit you so snug. And because I do take this car to the track, I think it perfectly suits the car, because I went with the carbon fiber bucket seats, the carbon ceramic brakes, and the carbon fiber exterior package, along with the carbon fiber interior trim. The bucket seats also elevate this car into like a supercar, a dream car, kind of like an exotic car spec. You can see I still have the sticker here. I'm actually gonna finally peel that off. I should have done that a long time ago. I'm saving the tag for caffeine and octane. I usually let, you know, a kid take the tag off. It really makes their day. But eventually that'll come off. It's not something that I'm keeping on for any specific reason. And yeah, guys, I think carbon fiber bucket seats, the carbon fiber interior trim, galvanic controls, and the full leather, all of that really elevates the car. And on the outside, the carbon fiber exterior package, yes, you can get those pieces aftermarket, but do you really want to take the front bumper off your car and put, you know, eBay carbon fiber inlets onto your car? I don't know, guys. For me, premium OEM finish, fit and finish is important, so I went with the OEM stuff, and I'm pretty happy with it for the carbon fiber exterior and package. Also, when you're buying a car and you're doing all of these options, remember, it's never a good idea to buy a car cash. So if you really spec out your build, you're paying for that over time. I'm financing the car, and so all of those options are not being purchased in cash up front at their dollar value. So you really do need to keep that in mind. And remember, the dollar itself is being debased by the Federal Reserve. Every single day, the value of our dollar kind of goes down and we experience inflation. So it's something to really consider. If you want, and I'm actually repeating what I saw on another channel, I think his name is Ken, he's up in the Northeast, Massachusetts or Connecticut. He has a manual M2, and he talks and drives the same way I do, which is, you know, just enjoy the car, get the house, you know what I mean? Because the dollar is being debased. If you have a dream, and maybe even the car or the house will push you to work even harder, because in many cases that is actually the case, where you get a car and you may have never thought that you could afford it. And so what that's gonna do is put you against the wall. And when men are put against the wall, you either see what they're really made of, or they fall within themselves. They basically collapse within themselves. So if you want to know like how much you're made of, and you want something to push you, and maybe it even pushes you to start creating content around that thing. If it's a house, if it's a car, you know, go for it. You only get this life, you know what I mean? And you're not gonna take these things with you. So go for it, guys. The Federal Reserve has printed so much money, and we owe so much debt, the country as a whole, right? We have over $30 trillion of debt. Now, if you can create a business around something that is motivational or inspirational like a car, and it pushes you to do better, just go for it, guys. Just go for it. Stop listening to other people who are limiting your beliefs, limiting your views, because they're too afraid to take that risk. In the end, I promise you, if you put yourself against the wall and you work your ass off, you will be years ahead of many, many people that are the same age as you. And you will have a whole bunch of stories that you'll be able to tell other people to inspire other people. You will be a living example of what it means to take that risk and to do better. And not everyone can do that, you know, not everyone can do that. But I do think that I'm attracting the right people in terms of this channel and the content. So we're gonna take it easy on the way back so that we can keep reviewing the car. As you can see, there's a little bit of condensation buildup. It's so hot outside, guys. I always keep a very plush microfiber towel in here, and I just kind of wipe off all this condensation builds up from the AC. And if you haven't noticed, I have pretty much a satin PPF custom cut screen protector on this big screen. It prevents a lot of glare during the day, and it keeps the dust and oil kind of off the screen, which is really nice. So Drew at Precision Window Tint and Film cut that for me, but if you have a PPF guy who's close to you, I think this would be a really nice ask for them to do when you're doing PPF on your car. I think it's a nice little touch. Another thing that is custom to this car is the valve controller. I have an SST valve controller, and it does come with a key which you can program. So the key is basically an on or off switch for the valves, and these cars have a HomeLink mirror system, so you can program the valves to open the valves and close the valves using the buttons on the HomeLink garage door button opener. It's a very easy process. Basically, you hold both of these at the same time, which clears the memory. It'll start flashing, I believe it starts flashing orange. When it gets to green, you then hold the button on the remote that you want to program to the button on the rear view mirror, and it basically syncs up. So now I have this button as my valves open and this button as my valves closed. So we're in the car now, we're in M1, the exhaust burbles are on. Once you get a valve controller, the exhaust button here actually becomes your burbles, which is really nice because you can have the valves fully open and the burbles off if you want that super clean sound. I've actually grown to enjoy the natural burbles because my car is not tuned. And what that means is, you know, on the outside it sounds a lot deeper, and that's one of the changes I think that the LCI has, which BMW is not really publishing or publicizing, which is the exhaust note has become deeper. There is some changes that they have done somehow to just, and this also happened on the 2021 Supra, by the way. I had the 2021 A91 Supra, and what had happened is that the exhaust note had changed between the 2020 Supra and the 2021 Supra. The 2021 Supra also had 40 to 50 more horsepower. And similarly, the LCI, the 2025 M4 competition, gets a 20-25 horsepower bump. And with that bump, I think what they've done is change the exhaust note through something, maybe even software in the car. And it is deeper now. There is a more significant exhaust note. Personally, I have coded out using Bimmer code the active sound design. BMW calls it ASD. That is the digital exhaust noise that comes from inside the car. And what that does is it prevents you from getting this kind of digital artificial noise that isn't clean, and it also disrupts your sound system because your sound system is trying to play that noise along with the music that you're playing. So by coding out through Bimmer code the ASD, I'm getting a much cleaner exhaust note that's pure and authentic, and I'm also getting a better sound system experience when I'm playing music inside the car. Now I can't really review the music system because of a copyright strike, and I basically only have copyrighted music right now on my Spotify and my iPhone. However, I will also say that BMW is not publicizing that the sound system has become better, okay? So this is a big thing, guys. iDrive 8.5 is new for the LCI M4. What that means is there's a whole new hardware set behind the screen, means new chipset. We're talking about processors, right? There might even be a new set of hardware for the amplifier and the sound system. My personal experience, I've owned 3 G82s. I had a 2021 M4 Competition rear-wheel drive that had iDrive 7. I had a 2024 M4 Competition Xdrive that had iDrive 8. And now I have a 2025 M4 Competition Xdrive which has iDrive 8.5. 8.5 sounds the best, hands down. Cleanest, more bass than ever. And I really think it has to do with that there's new hardware in the system. Now, I also want to touch upon Bimmer code and what you could previously do. So in iDrive 7 and iDrive 8, you could use Bimmer code to change settings in the head unit, and you could code in the Bowers & Wilkins sound profile. Now, that Bowers & Wilkins sound profile is usually reserved for cars with the Bowers & Wilkins sound system. This is a Harman Kardon sound system. So the 5 Series and the 7 Series get the Bowers & Wilkins sound profile. On the M4 and the M3, we have Logic 7, which is an equalizer created by Harman Kardon. Previously, you know, in the iDrive 8 and iDrive 7 versions of the M4 and the M3, you could use Bimmer code to code in the Bowers & Wilkins sound profile. Unfortunately, the head unit is no longer supported in iDrive 8.5, and you cannot code in that Bowers & Wilkins sound profile. So that's something I always did, which I thought would make the sound system sound better, and it did. I would tweak the settings, but now you can no longer do that. But I think it's okay because, as I said, the hardware has changed, which means the sound system itself is better and it sounds better. So you don't need that Bowers & Wilkins sound profile. If you guys want to take a look, what I do is I turn off the Logic 7 surround. I keep treble all the way to the max, bass all the way to the max. I keep the balance and the fader the same. I go to volume settings. I have speed volume all the way to the lowest. I have navigation volume all the way to the lowest. I have volume reduction set to low. I have the PDC and the gong noise all the way set to low too, because those can be really annoying noises. If we go back, in the equalizer, this is how I have it set up, guys. So you have both the bass and the treble really pushing, with the mids just a little bit raised. And I think this produces the best sound possible. And what I generally listen to is Spotify through the in-car app. So when you go to media, this is the in-car Spotify app. You can also play Spotify through Android Auto or Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but it just doesn't sound as good for some reason. So the best music quality I can get out of the car is when I use the actual music app on my iPhone through CarPlay, or I use the Spotify app on the car itself. And you can log into Spotify with your credentials in the car, and it uses the connected drive with BMW, because each car has its own data connection, which is kind of cool. So yeah, guys, that is some awesome stuff. I also want to point out that you can customize this menu fully. So I do have this customized, and you can scroll across to see what I have. This will show the actual color of your car, and it'll show the power output. And then also, if you brake or if you put your turn signals on, it'll actually show it on the screen. So watch, you can see there's that turn signal, there's that turn signal. And what's funny is in the US, we don't actually get that amber turn signal. We get essentially a brake light flashing for the turn signal, but in Europe, they get the amber turn signal. I do think that's something that you could code in if you get the European spec taillights, but all good, guys. Again, iDrive 8.5 is super fast. We're talking about instantaneous. Like when you click something, it just works. On iDrive 8, there was definitely some lag when you went across screens. Also, CarPlay, the navigation would get super messed up. It would just start spinning, and it would be very, anxiety inducing. It would be frustrating. You'd be trying to go somewhere, you put your destination in on Waze, and 10 minutes into your journey, the CarPlay just stops working. And in iDrive 8, the solution to that would be to pull over and to hard reset the system by pressing the power button for 30 seconds. But who wants to do that every day? Luckily, over-the-air software updates, I think, mostly solved that. But in iDrive 8.5, I haven't had a single issue. I haven't had any glitches. I have not had any Apple CarPlay issues. Knock on carbon fiber for these car guys, knock on carbon fiber. But it's been smooth sailing, and I really think they have updated the hardware to be very fast, very, very fast. So you can customize all of these panes, guys. You can add different things into them. You can add widgets, that's what they're called. I can only adjust it when it's parked. And then for iDrive 7, right? So my 2021 M4, there used to be numbers here, which were shortcuts. In iDrive 8, those shortcuts went away. In iDrive 8.5, they have even redesigned that new shortcut menu. So when you press up on the dial pad, that's your shortcut menu. The icons are now bigger than ever. You can either press up on the dial pad, or you can scroll down from the top. I actually just prefer pressing up because it doesn't always get your finger input when you scroll down. And these are what I have. I have the in-car Spotify app, the CarPlay app, heads-up display to change the heads-up display, the drive recorder. This, I think, is a $200 option, guys, and you should get it. You should absolutely get it because it's always recording with all the cameras around the car. So if anything ever happens, you will have footage of what actually occurred. And that's always recording. You can change the settings, but it records about a minute at a time, and it just rewrites over that minute. The setup menu, that's where you change all of your settings for your drive modes. And then I have the weather, the sound systems, and then the main menu itself. So pretty cool, right guys? I think iDrive 8.5 is a big win. The hardware changes are a big win. The sound system being better because of the hardware changes is a big win. And overall the design, right? The carbon fiber steering wheel and flat bottom now has cutouts, so you can see that it's even more lighter than before. The 12 o'clock steering marker, the new vent design, all of it I think is a big win in my book. All right guys, I'm gonna cut it out here. When I get back from the gym, we'll get some more POV driving and we'll push the car. Let's go. Welcome back, Unlockable Character fam. Today is Fun and Fitness Fridays. We just got done with the gym. I'm going to continue with my full review of the 2025 LCI BMW M4 Competition Xdrive. What a mouthful, but what a car, guys. I'm gonna put it in track mode. It's already in all-wheel drive sport. We are going to go to Bantam Pub in Atlanta, where my friend Nash, who runs Auto House Social, is doing a lunch gathering. Now it's going to be a lot of track focused, guys, a lot of Porsches. Nash has a beautiful turbo Porsche and he has modified it beautifully. I think he has BBS wheels on it. J-Zilla will be there. J-Zilla is a really good local track group. They're doing a raffle to give away a track day, and I've entered the raffle, so I'd really like to win. We'll see. It's okay if I don't win. I'd like to go to Barber Motorsports Park. That's in Birmingham, Alabama. It's about a 3-hour drive west of Atlanta. But all right, guys, as we head there, let's do a driving review. So my car has the Mastery of Art and Design engine bay intakes. Those are the cold air intakes. It has the Mastery of Art and Design single non-resonated mid-pipe, the Mastery of Art and Design Fat Boy catless downpipes, and it also has the Big Daddy's Garage O2 spacers, which means I don't get a check engine light even though I have a catless exhaust system. I have the SST valve controller, which means I can open and close the valves. I have the SPL front adjustable outer tie rods, the SPL rear race tow arms with the eccentric lockout kit. I also have the Cobra height adjustable suspension, which is set to maximum low. And the Cobra height adjustable suspension for the G82, in my research, is the lowest one that you can get. As always, this is a shit show, so I'm just gonna go around the retards who can't drive, as always. I know where I'm going. I don't even need Waze, but a lot of people just, they can't drive without the GPS and they do what they're told, right? Just like their everyday lives, they do exactly what they're told without thinking. Now guys, I have the exhaust and the suspension set up as I described, plus I have 20mm spacers all the way around. The 20mm spacers plus that Cobra height adjustable kit means that I have perfect fitment. Literally one finger fitment around the whole car. I do have a track alignment done by High Tech Motorsports. They're over in Norcross/Peachtree Corners. They are the shop I trust for everything. High Tech Motorsports, guys. Suspension, exhaust, custom fabrication, you name it, they can do it. Now, apart from all of that, on the software side, I have the CS software flashed into the car. That means it shifts faster because it has the CS transmission software. It has the CS suspension software, which means the car is firmer than normal. It has the CS steering software, which means the steering feels much more reactive, much more responsive, and just also feels firmer. It also has the CS differential tuning, which is the MDM. I don't really use MDM that much, but European spec cars on the G80 and the G82 get more playfulness, and the CS software, because we're over in America, gives you even more playfulness. I always just turn everything off or everything on, but I will test that out eventually, guys. So right now, I would estimate with all of the changes, even without a full tune, the car is at about 550 horsepower. BMW says that the LCI cars are 525 horsepower, and I think it's like 520 wheel horsepower. Like, it is a significant power gain from the pre-LCI cars. The 0 to 60 BMW says is somewhere in the low 3 seconds. I think it's in the high 2 seconds. This is a 10.9 second quarter mile car stock, which is it's just honestly outrageous. When you spec out your car, there's a few things I would tell you to do. If you want to get track mode, which I have on right here, which you can activate from M mode, you need to get the M Driver's Professional package. Now, there's two packages that sound really similar. There's another M package which raises the top speed. Right now, the top speed is limited to about 167. If you get the option that raises the top speed, it gets up to, I would say, 187. But if you tune the car, I'm gonna go with MHD, you can remove the top speed limiter anyway. So that's one of the only packages that I didn't get on the car. The other package that I didn't get on the car is the Smart Highway Cruise Control. I don't use it. It adds a camera in the front and a radar system in the front that makes the grille asymmetrical. And I said, you know what? I have everything else. I'm not going to use the Smart Cruise Control. I don't need to use it. So I didn't get that option, and I didn't get the top speed limiter removal. Other than that, this car is fully spec'd. It's 116 grand. I was able to get 6% off from the MSRP at the dealership. That's honestly because I have a good relationship with the dealership, and I did try to negotiate as best as I could. But guys, remember, when you're buying these cars, do not spend cash on a car like this. I was leasing my previous car. I was able to get 6% off the MSRP on that car as well. And I didn't put any money down on the lease, but I did put money down on this car because I'm financing it. So just think about that, guys. Cash flow. If you can make money from a car or an investment and it can bring in more cash than you're spending to afford it, go for it, because now this is an asset that makes money for me. And not only that, it just brings me so much joy in my life. It's very inspirational and very motivational for me to have something like this in my life. Be the first one there at lunch, guys. Get some prime parking. I can also offload the footage onto my iPad. Right now, I think I have a 256 gigabyte SD card, micro SD card in my GoPro. It's a Hero 11. Guys, this GoPro Hero 11 Black is all you need to start POVs. There's a $230 bundle, $230 at Costco. You get an extra battery, you get the memory card, and you get a bunch of accessories. It's a no-brainer, guys, if you want to start doing this kind of footage. All right, guys. Oh. How about them apples, guys? How about them apples? We are gonna go through Midtown and downtown Atlanta today instead of taking the access road, so you'll get some really cool footage of what the city looks like. Of course, people slow down here, but that's not who I am. I'll show you guys how to actually take this merge. As you can tell, I'm upshifting to slow down the car, guys. Helps balance and slow down the car. You don't always have to just use the brakes. Now I'm downshifting and braking. The only thing I don't like about going on this road is it's so bouncy. You'll see that there's a ton of bounces as we get closer. Basically, it's like a bridge with interlocking segments. So we're just bouncing on the interlocking segments. Pretty funny if you ask me. If your suspension is on the stiffest settings, that would not feel good, I'll tell you that. You'll start to see the skyline of Atlanta coming up, which is really nice. It's a little bit windy here. Right here is always a shit show. People don't know whether to stay in the left or the right lanes. People just don't know how to drive, but it's to be expected, right guys? To be expected. Get a little bit of action, guys. Come on now. Oh. Oh my God. That is how you drive through Atlanta, guys. No fucks given. A lot of cars make a lot of noise and don't go anywhere. This car makes the right amount of noise and it goes exactly where I want it to. Shout out to Santa Cruz. It's a sick pickup truck, especially for the city. And we are going to be 5 minutes early, guys. That's what it's about. I used to have a Q60, guys. I still think they're very handsome cars. More of a luxury car than a performance car, but still a very good looking car. There's tons of potholes here that I'm just trying to avoid. You gotta know the city, guys. If you have a lowered car, you can't just be driving anywhere. You guys will tell that I can take these, not too big of an issue. No rubbing there. But if you take that at speed, guys, you're gonna lose something on your suspension. Be careful. I can't believe some of you guys just go through speed bumps without slowing down. Look, I can go straight over it. No rubbing. But again, I don't have a splitter on right now, so that does help. Atlanta's pretty cool because you have these in-town houses right next to where the skyscrapers are. It gives you a feeling of living, you know, in the suburbs within the city. And we call that in town, you know, like the in town community. And Nash and Auto House Social, they're a big component of that in town automotive community. I also look out for things like screws on the road, guys, because you will see them if you pay attention. Again, trying to avoid all these potholes while we get to the location. I really hope you enjoyed that rip through the city, guys. That's the type of footage I hope you love to see, because as I said, I don't have fear and I know my abilities. A lot of people, you're too young, don't try to push yourself. You don't know your abilities yet, you've never brought your car on track. Trying to impress people who don't care about you, you know what I mean? And here we go, guys, there is Nash's beautiful yellow turbo. You hungry?
Oh yeah.
Alright guys, we are at Bantam Pub. The GoPro overheated, but I've cooled it down. AC is on blast. I've changed it to the standard full frame, so it won't be a distorted view. We're parked right behind Nash's beautiful yellow turbo, and I think there's a sick Mitsubishi Lancer Evo behind us. So let me get out and show you what's going on here, guys. Alright. So, car's still looking clean, but look at this, guys. This is out of Gran Turismo. Straight out of Gran Turismo. Unbelievable. This is not something you see even at Caffeine and Octane. Like, these are some of the nicest, most well-maintained examples of Evos. Let's take a walk down to Lance's car. You can see my plate is on. Car is sitting nicely. There are his BBSs. I don't know if he just recolored these, but they look so sick. I think he swapped out his headlights, so he has newer headlights on this thing. Yeah, look at those, guys. That looks absolutely sick. And just like me, you can tell he has one finger fitment. That fitment is crazy. Here we go, we got a classic 928S. Beautiful. Another one. Oh yeah, and the AMG on BBSs, I see this all over the place. Look at that, carbon fiber intake, carbon fiber shroud. Wow, that thing looks gorgeous. Here's Nash, the man.
What's up, guys?
Oh, your brother. Dude, this guy, he runs the in-town community, so if you're in town and you don't know him, you better know him, all right?
I don't know about that, but I appreciate you coming out, brother, man.
Good to see you, man.
Car looks amazing.
Thanks, man.
Sick.
Ah, the new shroud.
Check out. Yeah.
Carbon fiber?
Look at the intake, custom.
Did you refinish your BBS's black?
No, those are old set.
Old set?
So.
Well guys, we're gonna go in, get a drink, get a bite to eat. I'll see you later.
Turn it around and park your nose this way.
What the hell?
Park behind him.
Oh, there's my sim. Beautiful cars coming in, guys. Look at that. Green on bronze, green on gold. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, baby. it's kind of difficult to get up there. They're the overland cars, you know what I mean? Like the Forerunners and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, he's in the back seat. Hey, look at those seats. Wow.
Hey, Rick.
This thing is absolutely gorgeous, guys. It even has the shark fin, which is a signature thing for Porsches, which protects against debris coming up against that rear wheel.
Yeah. Andrew's put a lot of time. Check out the interior of this thing. It's clean.
Is this paint? Is this wrap? What is this?
I'll let the man tell you, but check out 911 South. He's got a
See you,
whole
man.
deal. What's up, Jace? The man is
All right, guys. So this is part one of the full review of the 2025 BMW M4 competition, okay? Exterior, we're gonna do appearance. I give this car a 4.5 out of 5, so 4.5 out of 5. Why? Just look at the color, guys. Frozen black, BMW individual. We have the laser tail lights. We have the quad exhaust tips, carbon fiber exterior package. I took off the rear spoiler because we're gonna put a swan neck wing on. We have the carbon ceramic brakes in gold. We have the gloss black wheels. They look absolutely crazy. I actually love the headlights. I know people say, oh, no more laser headlights. Well, guys, let me turn on just the daytime running lamps and you can see how intricate these new headlights are. Okay, if you press off in the interior, you can see the daytime running lamps. Look at that. You now have side LEDs that run along the side of each running headlamp. And not only do you have the daylight running lights, but you have a stack of LEDs that turn on when you have the high beams on. This is the turning light, which corners when you corner, and that's the main projector. Looking at this car, guys, it is just menacing. So exterior, 4.5 out of 5. Performance, also 4.5 out of 5. This car is a 0 to 60 under 3 seconds. It is a 1/4 mile in 10-second car. Absolutely bonkers. All you need to do is put an exhaust and tune in the car, and you are beating Ferraris and Lamborghinis. So once the car is tuned, 4.5 out of 5 goes to 5 out of 5. Appearance, once the swan neck wing and the splitter on, goes from 4.5 out of 5 to 5 out of 5. Okay, let's talk about the handling. So stock, this is the lowest score I will give the car. I would say it's a 4 out of 5. It's a little bit numb, but again, there's just a few things that you can do, like a lowering kit, the front monoballs, bump steer adjustable outer tie rods in the front, race rear tow arms, and that goes from a 4.5 out of 5. Sorry, so from a 4 out of 5 to a 4.5 out of 5. Next step for me would be coilovers, and that would be a 5 out of 5 with camber plates to adjust the camber in the front. You can see the fitment as it is now, guys. This is the Cobra height adjustable kit with 20mm spacers all the way around. That is perfect fitment. I do have these mega chip rock guards. They make the car look wider and they protect the paint and the people behind me. Even the front, guys, that is less than 1 finger fitment. Remember, 20mm spacers, Cobra height adjustable suspension all the way low. You cannot tell me this is one of the nicest looking cars out there, because it is. And that grille, once you lower the car at night with those headlights, that just looks absolutely menacing, guys. There's no way you can say that that looks bad. You just might not have any good taste, you know? Let's talk about the interior. The interior on this car for me is a 5 out of 5 when you get the carbon bucket seats, the carbon interior trim, and the full leather, which gives you the colored stitching as well as the full leather on the upper doors as well as the upper dash. You do get colored stitching on the upper dash as well. The screen itself, iDrive 8.5, super fast, super easy to use. So technology for me is also a 5.5, 5 out of 5. Overall, I think at the $100,000 price point, for a car that can go all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, drift, drag race, track, this is best of all worlds. You can build this into exactly what you want, and you can upset people who are spending over $200,000 on exotic cars. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed. This is part 1. We will do a part 2 later. Hope you love the content. Let's go.